Welcome back to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from a higher ground on Ladies Island. I'm joined this afternoon by my friend and former guest, Danielle Brydung from Low Country Area Vita Coalition.
Thank you for
Nice to have
me.
you. Yeah.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, this is your third time
Yes.
on North of the Broad. And every year you have something new to share and some updates, but you know, you're really here to talk about the Vita program and how it services the Low Country community and members who really need some help with tax assistance.
That's right. So the Low Country Area Vita Coalition started in 2008, and it was identified that there were a lot of tax credits being left on the table in Beaufort County. So the IRS approached local community partners here and said, we have this program, which actually started in the 60s, do you guys want to implement it? So we did, we jumped on that, and so for the last 10 years, we've been preparing free tax returns for low to moderate income, elderly, differently abled, and English as a second language taxpayers in Beaufort County, as well as 6 other counties in this region. So Jasper, our neighbor, obviously, is our next biggest presence, and then Hampton, Colleton, Allendale, Bamberg, and Barnwell also.
Wow. This program's been in existence for 10 years.
Here, yes.
Excellent. I mean, I know this is, like I said, the third time you've been on the show, and again, it's to talk about that and create a level of awareness.
Yep.
We may have viewers out there that have no problems filing their taxes, you know, using TurboTax or some other online tax program, are in a position where they need to have an accountant, but there's a lot of people who really find their taxes to be very scary.
Oh yeah.
And what happens, I'm gonna gander, is that they just don't file them sometimes because they're overwhelmed, not organized, and really feel like maybe they just don't know where to go. So
That does happen, definitely.
So we want to avoid that. We want everyone to make sure that they're filing their taxes.
Yes.
They're getting filed correctly. So let's talk about some of the eligibility requirements, Danielle,
Yep.
because obviously we want people, the right people, to be seeking out you and the organization in order to get support.
So there are 4 eligibility requirements, and you only have to meet one of them. So as long as a taxpayer fits into one of the 4, we can help them.
Okay.
And they are income, like I said, so $57,000 gross per adult in the household, which means that a household with 2 working adults could make in excess of $100,000 before all of the tax adjustments and things like that. It's very difficult for an individual to just look at their documents and say, oh, I definitely qualify or definitely don't. So if you have a question, come in and see us and we'll make that determination. For the most part, we don't turn people away unless they have a situation that's outside of the scope of our certification. If we're not qualified to do the return, we won't do it because it's not good for the taxpayer, it's not good for the volunteer.
Right.
That's the most complicated one. The other ones are fairly easy. So if someone has a disability, whether it's mental or physical, we don't need verification of the disability. They can just come in. We're not in the business of evaluating disabilities. So that's the next one. The third one is language. So English as a second language at home.
That's a barrier, obviously.
That's a barrier, obviously, because the tax preparation software is usually in English, and it's not that easy to understand already.
Even in English.
So then to add the language barrier on top of that, if people speak another language, they can definitely come in. So I said income, disability, language, and elderly. So the IRS, for Vita purposes, considers anyone 60 or older to be elderly and eligible for our services. So that could mean that your income is in excess of that $57,000 threshold, but if you're 60 or above, you can come in and see us.
Got it. Wow, it's really good information. We have just a little bit of time left, but we want to know where we can direct people to get assistance if they're eligible, and then what some of the locations are in and around Beaufort and Jasper counties. So give us that information, Danielle.
No problem. So our website is Vita, V-I-T-A, lowcountry.org. You'll see that on the screen, so you can write that down. And you can also call us at 843-321-9071. The majority of our sites are housed at public libraries. So if you don't have access to phone capabilities or internet, just going into the library, they'll be able to provide all of our sites and all of our hours. They're a huge partner of ours. And the hours of operation and the days vary from library branch to library branch. So before making the trip in, it can be really beneficial to inform yourself so that you don't get there and find no volunteers.
That's right. You want to make sure that you're prepared. You have bring all of your documents with you.
No doubt. And those are listed on our website as well if there's any question about that.
Excellent. This is such a wonderful service that you coordinate in those 6 counties to bring it to residents who really are at a disadvantage, and we want to make sure that they have all the resources that are available to them. So thank you, Danielle, for all the work you do. Thank you so much for being a guest again on North of the Broad. One quick question, when does the program go into effect?
It starts January 29th, so
Okay.
we're almost there.
Almost there. So people watching this, the program will be in effect by the time of this views. So thank you so much for that and for being a guest on North of the Broad.
Thank you.
That wraps up this edition. Hope to see you next time.